Hi, it's me, B. Welcome back to my channel. This is Cakes and Cults, where I bake a cake and I talk about a cult. Today's cake is going to be a vanilla cake, because I need something easy after that sledge cake I made last time that required so much preparation. I don't know if you've ever made your own nut milk before and then condensed it, but it's a solid hour and a half of effort. So I'm gonna make a simple vanilla cake, and then I'm gonna be talking about the movement for the restoration of the 10 Commandments of God. That is the whole name. And if you are interested in learning more after hearing or watching this video on it, Wine and Crime, one of my favorite podcasts, actually does a very interesting episode on this, and another cult, they did a whole cult episode. It's great. So without further ado, the cult, or a religious movement as they like to call it, was started by Credonia Mirinde, Joseph Kibwetiri, and B. Tate in the late 80s in Uganda. Actually, Uganda had a pretty big Catholic church presence, but because of social and political turmoil with stuff like the AIDS crisis going on and the Ugandan Bush War, there was a lot of unrest, and a lot of people came out of the woodwork saying they were the Messiah, as you do. And all of these messiahs convinced people to join their religious movements. Both Credonia and Joseph came together because they realized that they had very similar visions of the Virgin Mary. And they took that as a sign that they needed to prepare the world for the apocalypse. The group actually has roots with Credonia's father. He, in the 1960s, said that he received a vision from the Virgin Mary saying, hey, you're going to get a vision about the end of the world, and you need to pay attention to it and share that information. 20 years later, in the 80s, he had a vision that included Jesus and I think the angel Michael, and Credonia's like, oh, me too. Me too. I had that vision. So her dad was like, you need to go and tell the world about this. There's something going on. So she began the group, and it actually got off the ground pretty quickly. So the group gained notoriety, enough to which excommunicated priests and nuns came to join them, including a priest by the name of Dominic Kari Babo, who was like, oh yeah, this is legit. Everything they're saying is in the Bible, and he was well respected. He was well known, especially for having worked in Europe. People thought that meant something. So the group was doing pretty well for themselves when it came to getting some membership, and people would sell all of their belongings and live in these communal homes and these communal groups all over West Uganda, where they built houses that were there for worship and recruiting, and they also built schools. So by the late 1990s, there were several communities. The group was doing very well, and Credonia was continually receiving messages from the Virgin Mary, which is what made her so, important and the matriarch of the group. But she didn't get visions how That's So Raven got visions, where she just kind of stopped and was like, no, she got visions by saying that she had this hidden telephone service, and the Virgin Mary and everyday objects would communicate to her. So she'll be drinking her juice or whatever, and she'll finish her cup and just go, hello? Guys, it's the Virgin Mary. I'm gonna need a minute. I'm gonna need a minute. You know. And that to me would have just taken me out of the whole thing completely. Like, as soon as I saw that, I'd be like, you're talking to a bowl of oatmeal saying that Mary is talking to you. But, you know, in the Catholic world, people think they get messages from the Virgin and from Jesus and stuff from inanimate objects all the time. Like, have you seen those like bread? Like, there's like, someone bakes a piece of bread and there's like a blob in it and it like vaguely looks like Jesus or the Virgin Mary or something. So, I mean, it's not unheard of, but it's a little wild. So, because this was an apocalypse group, they obviously had an end of the world date set. That being the year 2000. Very original. I think a lot of people thought the world was going to end in the year 2000. So by 1997, the group actually had over 5,000 members living in these communal like homes and communities, mostly growing like bananas and pineapples. And actually in 1998, the Ugandan police shut them down temporarily, saying like, hey, these are unsanitary conditions. You're using child labor. There's evidence of abuse. Like, we're not going to condone this. But the government overturned that decision and they continued onward. So in 1999, with the end of the world pretty close, the leadership was like telling members, like, you need to confess your sins, you need to sell all your clothes, you need to sell all the cattle and sheep and shit that we have, because we're not going to need it. We're going to heaven. This is the apocalypse. And January 1st, 2000 came and went with like no activity. Nothing happened, no incidents. And this caused a little bit of an unease in the group. You guys notice a pattern with these cults, where the end of the world is supposed to happen or something is supposed to happen and it doesn't. And then everyone in the group is like, what's happening? Like, I gave you all of my money. I have nothing. And you're telling me that I'm not even going to get like killed in an apocalyptic fire and go to heaven. This is bullshit. So, obviously the leaders were under a lot of pressure, and reportedly, and this is what the police surmised or investigated or got some information from some remaining members of the group, that a lot of people were demanding their money back. They're like, okay, I donated all of my belongings to you. I want that back. So as a result, the leadership came up with a new date for the end of the world, which was March 17th, 2000. The apocalypse needed 3.5 months to get its shit together, apparently. Okay, so they had this huge party. It was in a church. There was 3 bulls, 70 crates of soda. This was all to celebrate the end of the world. Minutes after everyone arrived, entered the building to get the party started, nearby villagers heard an explosion. Police reacted right away, and the church where everyone was gathered to celebrate, with 530 people attending, including dozens of children, were all incinerated in a ginormous fire that engulfed the entire building, that had been boarded up, windows and doors, to ensure that no one escaped. There was actually a report that not too long before this, that Dominic Kataribabo, the excommunicated priest and also another leader of the group, had bought a ton of sulfuric acid, like 500 liters, and They believe that this is what started the fire. 4 days after the investigation of the fire, they went to other properties that belonged to the group, and they found hundreds of people dead. Forgive me, because I don't remember. Oh, Evie. Oh, come here. It's okay. Come here. Evie, everybody. It's okay. It's okay. So 6 bodies were found at Kanungu, which is one of their communities. 153 bodies were found at a compound in Bahunge. 155 bodies were found at Dominic Kotarabi's estate, so his own home. And then another 81 were found in Joseph's farm. They did some investigating, and it looks like all those people were murdered about 3 weeks before the fire. The final death count was 942 people lost their lives as a result of this group. The people that they found in the different compounds, it was found that they were mostly poisoned. Some were poisoned and stabbed to death. You know, it was a tragedy, a huge tragedy, and one that Uganda regrets happening. They actually made a whole to-do about it, because who wouldn't? The police believe that because there was a failure in the fulfillment of the prophecy, that the group leaders felt a ton of pressure and decided that they wanted to end it. They were believed, including Credonia and Joseph, were believed to have been killed in that fire. But now there is evidence to suggest that both Credonia and Joseph are probably alive. So the last sighting, like reported sighting of Joseph, was in 2014 in Malawi, but they still haven't caught and prosecuted he or Credonia at all for this crime. We haven't been able to find them. So that is the movement for the restoration of the 10 Commandments of God. Incredibly sad case, as is all mass murders, and this was deemed a mass murder by the police, so it wasn't, you know, they didn't count this as a suicide. They believed all these people were murdered, sadly. So I'm gonna put this cake in the oven, and I'll frost it, get it nice and cute, come back on camera. You guys know the drill by now. This is like the 6th episode. I don't know, I don't keep count. And I will include a cute little picture of the slice once it's done. I think I'm gonna decorate it a little bit. I don't know, I'll show you. And I'll see you in a second. All right, here is my cake. It's a single layer. I did it in a 9-inch pan. I will be putting the link to the recipe at the description like normal. But I think it came out like super cute. The sponge looked really good when it came out of the oven, so I'm really excited. But yeah, that is the cake and the cult. I might be doing something a little different come in the next couple of weeks for the holiday season, so look out for that. No promises, but I have an idea and I think it would be really cool. And I really enjoyed doing this for you guys, and I love doing it. And I know this is just a hobby because I don't really have like a bunch of subscribers or anything, but it means a lot when you guys watch and share my videos and like my videos and stuff. So thank you. So have a safe weekend. I will insert a picture of a slice once it's done and cut up. We're gonna enjoy it here soon. And I hope you have a lovely day. Stay safe. Bye-bye.